Welcome to the Epic Company Culture Podcast, where your host, Josh Sweeney, will give you, the business leaders, HR professionals, and company culture aficionados, the knowledge you need to take your company culture to the next level.
Hello, my name is Josh Sweeney, and welcome to the Epic Company Culture Podcast. This is Season 3, which is all about employee retention, and I am joined here by my co-host, Crystal Sweeney.
Hey, glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Before we get started on this episode, I would like to thank Prototype Prime for this amazing podcasting space. The topic of today is my why. So we do this exercise in our organization called My Why. Amazing experience with employees, which we think leads to better employee retention over time when it's refreshed with new employees and recapped and followed. And I'm going to let Crystal tell you a little bit about her experience doing the My Why and a little bit about how we did it with the team.
Yes. So I have to say this is probably one of my most favorite experiences that I've had with our team so far. We've got some remote employees, and that creates some challenges in getting to know your team and you know who they are and how they work. You're only seeing them for a short period of time. We use Google Hangouts, so we get on a morning call every day, and you're basically just going over what it is that you're doing. So we went through an exercise not too long ago called the My Why. And what this does is it prompts all of the employees to think about their short-term goals, long-term goals, and we're not talking about just in business and their job, but we're also talking about where do they see themselves, 30, 60, 90 days, 3 years, 5 years from now. Where do they see their family? Where do they see their personal growth? Where do they see themselves in their career? And I have to say, when we gave them a week, I went over my why first.
Right.
And so I put myself out there, and that way they could kind of see how it's structured. And it's, I'm also asking them to be extremely vulnerable. They're sharing some personal information with a team, and I gave them about a week to pull this together.
Yeah, and when you did it, a big part of it is really getting down deep into your why, because that's what really set the tone of the meeting, right? If you go all in and you share enough and you're vulnerable and tell everybody really what your plans are personally, professionally, and things like that, and why you show up every day and what that contributes to it. Again, it just sets the tone for everybody else in the organization to really share and be open.
Absolutely. I shared some personal information in my why, and I think because they heard my side first, my story first, and my goals, then it made them feel a little bit more open to share some things that are happening with them personally. And when they started sharing that, then you're not looking at them as a coworker anymore. You're starting to see them as a rounded person. You're seeing the things that they care about that have nothing to do with your work and your task and your work goals. These are things going on in their family. These are things going on with themselves. We found that pretty much all of them were sharing some kind of deep emotional type things that they wanted to see improve, and that really did make an impact on myself, and I think it made an impact on the team, because now it's this person is more than just a developer on the other end of the TV screen. Like, this person has issues, and a lot of them, same goals and personal struggles that maybe I had, and it kind of helped build a greater connection between me and the team.
Yeah, and being vulnerable and sharing gives everybody on the team the ability to see each other for who they are and their struggles, and build that bond. Because a lot of times, in life, we have a lot of surface level relationships where we really don't know anything about people, and people can be judgmental, and they can be judgmental because all of their skeletons are hiding in their closet, right? They don't have to share anything with you. Whereas we're breaking down some of that. Now, we're not getting into the skeletons in their closet or anything. What we're really doing is just understanding their motivators. So this exercise, what the sheet looks like, and we can provide it out to everybody for download, but it's basically 30, 60, 90 days, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year.
Yes.
I think are the intervals. And it's where they want to go personally and where they want to go professionally. And so they're really able to dig down and make those links and share that with the group. And the other thing I want to throw in as a tip is if you decide to do this within a department, it has to be a small group of people that work together a lot. So smaller teams, smaller departments, things like that, or subgroups of those departments. But it's also good to lead not only with somebody who really gets deep in sharing when they show them the sheet and how to fill it out, but also making sure that the person who kicks off the next meeting where everybody shares together is sharing the most. So what we noticed was when the person who has the most to share and is the most vulnerable goes first, again, it sets the tone for what everybody else is willing to share. And we saw some people that were a lot more introverted really step up and share more than we felt like they would have shared in any other situation.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really surprising, and again, it just started to really hit home because I was able to relate with some of them on a much deeper level than we had in the past. And after doing the MyWhy, I started noticing there was, more collaboration, more communication. The team started working together more, helping each other. They were reaching out and offering, hey, can I help in that? And all of a sudden, we're not just helping, one another, but we're helping one another and the people that they're trying to help, and the other aspects that's going to enrich and improve their lives. So it definitely made me feel like, this is beyond our company,
Yeah, and it gives you a really good view of why people show up every day. It's not just to make money, right? It's to make money and have, the financial means to impact something else in their life, whether it's their family or whether it's their brothers or sisters or, friends or, help somebody financially with a health situation. So there's a lot of driving factors for why people show up every day, and getting past that and into the personal factors is a great way to get to understand their motivators and how we can all help each other. And there's also, things that you discover where you just know you can help. Maybe you have experience in that area. Maybe you know somebody in that area, and without talking about it, the other team member can't say, hey, their colleague can't raise their hand and say, oh, my dad does this, or, I have a family member in that space. They can help you with this challenge that you're going through. You just don't know. So that was a really educational part of doing the exercise.
Yeah, and it also gives us a little bit more food for thought when we're going over a growth plan, because they are putting in their stepping stones of this is where I want to be in 3 months and 6 months and 9 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years, so you can actually use those things that they want and that they desire, and you can build some of those items, even some of the personal items, into the growth plan that we discussed in an episode before. So I think it helps to really just make the growth plan that much more meaningful.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about it in the last episode, all about that growth plan. And it's really hard to work and collaborate with somebody to build a growth plan if they don't know what they want. So the MyWhy exercise gives them the time to really sit down and think about what they want. They also hear from other people. And, I find that when I hear from other people, that really jogs my memory around, oh, well, I didn't write that down this time, but that is something else that's important to me, or makes me think of something that I just had forgot about or not put in my why sheet. So really helpful for growth plan. And at the end of the day, all of this leads to better employee retention. The goal is that that everybody's able to share, they're able to collaborate and build those bonds that, increases that retention, increases the satisfaction in the role, and, helps impact both themselves and the organization as a whole.
Yeah, I think once they completed the MyWhy, as far as the retention goes, it gives you some ideas on some ways that you can really give back to your employees that speaks to them. It's not a blanket, we're going to give you a gift card to go out to eat. It could be, this person wants to travel. So it could be giving, helping to pitch in on a plane ticket. This person wants to throw their child, a great birthday party. And it could be, we could pitch in as that, things that speak more to them, that's going to make them want to work more and stay within your company.
Yeah, definitely. So we hope that the My Why exercise is something that you can do in your organization to build relationships between colleagues, understand their motivators and where they want to go in life, and hopefully that contributes to the growth plan that we talked about in the previous episode. So we hope you enjoyed. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this season or any other season that we have, go out to SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, any of the podcast sites. Give us a ranking of 5. Share it with your friends. Share it with your colleagues and coworkers. And if you want an amazing company culture, feel free to share it with the people who can impact that company culture in your organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Epic Company Culture Podcast with Josh Sweeney. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. For additional content and transcripts, visit epicculture.co. If you have questions or topics you would like us to address or expand on, tweet us at epicculture1 or email at podcast@epicculture.co.